What's up, YouTube? Hey, I'm making this video to try to show you guys who been having problems with water getting into your Chevy trucks. I've got an '07 Avalanche. After looking over the internet, trying to find a solution for it, it was just bugging the hell out of me. I was getting water in on both sides of my floor. Didn't know where it was coming from. It seemed to have just started happening all of a sudden. But anyway, let me show you what I found out. Come on, let's go check it out. Here at the back of the truck, where that thick, heavy rubber matting is in the bed, when you take that out, you'll find 4 drain plugs, 2 up front, 2 here in the back. And a few of mine, they were dirty. They weren't necessarily clogged, so I went on and cleaned them out. Took out the rubber little grommet around it and cleaned them and put them back in. And while I was at it, I cleaned the entire area to make sure there was no debris that was going to fall into those holes at a later time. But everything here was fine. Also up here on the top of the bed, there's also a drain plug down in here. I put my water hose down in here and everything drained out just fine. Nothing ran into the cab. So I knew I was okay in this area. Secondly, this tailgate area, let me get you on the other side. I did the same here with the water hose as well. But let's see. Underneath this plating, there's also one drain plug here. It's an oval shaped drain plug, and it has a grommet with a little deal there to catch any debris that would fall down in there. So that was pretty clogged. I couldn't see any sitting water. But I went on and pulled that out. I didn't want to have problems with it later on, so I just went on and pulled it out, made sure it was all cleaned out so water would be able to drain down through there. Checked everything out back here. There was no water sitting anywhere in here. All of this was dry, so I didn't suspect I had any water dripping from the back area up towards the front. So let's head up front and I'll show you what I found. Okay, so I disassembled this front cowl piece. I had to remove the wipers in order to do that. There's 4 bolts here on this side that attaches. There's one here, and there's another one up in this area. You have 2 clips in my case. I had a clip here. There was another clip here. I had to pull those clips out, and then the same 2 bolts on the opposite side for that cowl was here. There was one little push down clip, little round push down clip, which was a bitch to get out. But after I got that out, I was able to snap this up out of the place. So the other videos on YouTube show that this plastic plate right here has a seal around it. And a lot of people were saying that this seal had breached and it was allowing water into the cab. And that was the source of the water coming in on the floorboard on both sides. But as you can see, I left this off. This seal really isn't that bad on mine, so I don't think any water got into it from this area. And also, if you look down in here, that's earlier. It rained a little bit here, but this was all dry. So I didn't think that was a problem. What I am going to do though is run some silicone around here while I have access to this area to make sure I don't have any problems here. But this is what I found. So I filled up my handy bucket there with some water, came to the back door area, and I started pouring water down into this roof line area that goes down into this rubber piece here. And I poured it for a few seconds just to see if I could go back up front to see if there was any water. And sure enough, as the water made its way towards the front, it dripped through somehow, came through here, and started running down on this piece. Where, when it got around to this point, it started filling over into the cab. Resting right in this area where I noticed all of my water. So, I determined that what had happened was somehow water was getting down in there and channeling itself down into here. And once it reaches this foam, this thing will just pour that water from this area and that's how all of this got soaked up. In the upper floorboard area, this was all dry, so it wasn't coming from here, it wasn't coming from the back. It had to be getting in from here somehow, and I found out how. Sure enough, on the driver's side, I went over and noticed the same thing. Let's head back over. So once again, I started from the back door area, ran it down from the roof line, came down to this point, and all of a sudden, water started channeling over into this inner piece here, coming down to this point and over into the cab, resting here, soaking the hell out of my floor. So for the last 2 days, I've taken all the water out, and I'm drying out my truck. So here's the fix. All right, y'all. So anyway, this is how I'm gonna fix this problem. I'm gonna wipe that seal down with some alcohol first, just some regular rubbing alcohol, clean the area. Then I'm gonna go back through it with a bead of silicone, just some clear silicone. And what I'm gonna try to do is just put that right inside the seam of that rubber piece, and when I stick it back onto the car, it should create a nice tight seal all the way down throughout that channel to where that water will run through. Anyway, let's go through the process and see how this is gonna work. Alright, so I pulled this rubber piece back, starting a little ways up the roof line, coming all the way down towards the front. Right in here, look at this. This is a gap here, there's a gap here. Who knows where that water is going that goes into this area, but if you look down in there, you'll see as water starts to come this way, it's going to drip down through this hole, coming out through here on the other side. This is where the water was dripping from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it up with some silicone and put this piece back in here. I'm going to clean it out really good with that rubbing alcohol. I'm going to drop a bead of that silicone down in here and also fill up this area here. Put all this back together and let it dry. See if we can get that water to channel in the right direction. Anyway, let me work on this a little bit, and I'll be back to show you after I'm finished. Alright, so what I've used is a clear silicone. So going on, it's going to show white like this, but after it dries, it'll be clear. But I went on and put that in here like this, and what I'm going to do is just smooth it over with my finger. And as far as the track, let's see if I can turn around and show you this. So as far as the track, that's how I applied the silicone inside the track. And when I go to put that back down upon this rail piece, it should create a nice bond all the way around that, so as water travels down through this channel, it won't back up on the other side of that track and come inside of this piece here. So after I put that on, let's see how this is gonna seal. So after I'm done with that piece, I'll be back to show you the finish. Alright, I'm back. Let's take a look at this. Got the sealer on. I got the trim piece put back into place. And once it's back on, you can't see any of that sealant, and especially after it dries, because it's the clear type. When it dries, it will dry clear. So hopefully all will go well, and that water will channel itself down through this other side, out on the other side of the door, and not into the cab. Let's look at the other side as well. And that's the plastic piece. And again, that's the way the silicone looks when you put it on. After it dries, you shouldn't be able to see that at all. And here's the other side. And underneath right here, you can see where that cutout was, and that's where that water was dripping in here. So hopefully this silicone will fill that area and everything will go straight on out the door the way it's supposed to. Anyway, we'll check back after we get it all together and run some water over it and see how everything goes. See you then. So that's it. Anyway, I'll get this thing all put back together, and while I was at it, I went on and hit those windshield wipers with some semi-flat black paint, Rust-Oleum, and that's the cowl piece that came off. It's a good time to go in and touch that up with some paint as well. Go to put everything back together, it'll look nice. Anyway, hope this works for you. Thanks for watching.